This is the A6500 cage from Small Rig. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today. This is SullyCortez. We're going to go over the A6500 cage from Small Rig. This is a brand new release. It just came out. I actually had this particular model sent to me with express delivery. I wanted to get it as soon as possible so I could review it and show it to you guys. So this particular cage is essentially the third iteration from Small Rig on the A6000 series. It is probably their best design. It is specifically made to fit the A6500. It does not fit it may or may not fit the A6300 or the A6000. I don't have those anymore. I sold mine for the A6500, so I do now have the A6500 cage. I also have the A6300 cage, which I will do some comparisons against so you guys can actually see, what the differences are between them. As I know a lot of you who have the A6500 like myself were probably using Small Rig's A6300 cage until this was readily available in shipping. But what's really neat is that this cage is relatively cheap compared to the expense of the A6500. You don't have to spend a lot of money to actually add a little bit of protection. So the A6500 cage, or 1889 as Small Rig has listed it, was designed by Yetta White, and it is made of one piece of high-grade aluminum alloy, so that really makes it lightweight and durable, which is, again, beneficial to everybody. It does not obstruct any of the camera buttons or the dials. They do have a cutout for the C1 and C2 buttons here, and they have a little indent rivet right here for the lens release. One of the things that I always hated was having the lens strap holders just kind of flopping around, making noise and dangling. Well, the way this cage is, it's cut so close that it just rests there and it actually doesn't really make any noise. It has 1/4 20 screw at the bottom, which mounts the camera. There's one cold shoe, which is right here. It's got a built-in cold shoe, which is nice. It's cut very, very clean. All of my accessories so far have fit in it nice and smoothly. It also has a lens strap cutout right here. I have Peak Design lens strap holders because they have a very fast locking system. You lock it in, you're good to go. When you want out, you just click out. So I have those, but if you didn't want to use those and you wanted to use, say, for example, the Sony strap that came with the A6500, you could rig it right through this little tiny slit right here, and that would allow you to have your strap go through nice and clean to the cage rather than to the camera, which in a way can be good, especially when you have bigger lenses on. You're not putting all the strain and the weight of the camera and that lens hanging off your neck from here, which I haven't heard of anybody actually breaking these or ripping them out, but I guess it is possible under certain weight loads. They do have a NATO rail on this side of the cage, which is great. Now I have a Zacuto handle here. This is the top handle. I'll show you how it goes on after. But this Zacuto handle can actually slide on right here. There you go, as you can see. And then you can lock it down. Yeah, this Zacuto handle could change horizontal or vertical, but for right now, I have it set up so that it's on top of the camera. But I just wanted to show you guys how it actually clamps onto the side. I love this. This is very unique. 1/4 20 and 3/8 all up and down the right-hand side. And what's really cool is not only does it have the NATO rail right here, but it also has this configuration where in the future, according to some of the techs from Small Rig, they're going to be releasing a wooden handle plate, essentially, that goes on front of the grip, which allows for a more secure, tight grip when you're holding the camera, especially under high weight loads. So that'll be really nice and comfortable. And they have cutouts for it and holes drilled so that when it does come out, you can stick it on. Personally, I'll be getting that. I much prefer that than having a vertical handle here. I can see how this would be very beneficial, especially when you have the A6500 under high weight loads, a monitor, a huge lens, V-mount battery or NP style battery, and a whole bunch of other accessories, microphone. It can get very, very heavy. So having NATO rail on the side like this is great. The top part also does not come with this Zacuto style NATO rail. I actually put that there. It's not a NATO rail, it's a Zacuto style rail, but it looks like it does have a NATO lip. I don't know if you guys can see that right there, but well, I'll try to get a close-up of that after. It does look like it has a NATO lip there, so I guess you could actually get a handle on here and clamp it down. But I would suggest getting something more like this. Small Rig makes their own NATO style clamps or NATO style rails, and you can go with those. I much prefer Zacuto because I like the way they, well, I like their materials and I like the way they mill their products. You can go with the Small Rig one, which will work perfectly fine, or you can go with a bolt-on handle. That'll work great. Just remember that bolt-on, it'll always be on. You'll have to have a tool with you to undo it. Small Rig's version and Zacuto's version are great because they're essentially quick release. You undo the latch, you slide it off, and you're good to go. So again, you can see here, they have quarter 20s all up and down the left side of the cage. Pretty much the possibilities are limitless. There is a bigger screw down here. Well, it's not bigger, but it is quarter 20, but it is fitted so that it goes flush against the bottom of the cage. Now I had to move mine up slightly because the Zacuto ratcheting screw digs into this, but as long as you're not using the Gorilla plate, you shouldn't have this issue. It's not really an issue. You just move up, 1 quarter 20 slot. But just something to keep in mind for those of you that use quick release plates, you just got to be careful so that there's clearance. What's awesome too about the bottom here is that I actually messaged Small Rig several times and we went back and forth about some improvements on the design of this particular cage. And one of the things that I told them was, please, please, please make sure that we have 2 mounting points on the bottom of the cage for anti-twist. That is one of the things that I always stress, most importantly, anti-twist, because when you have a single mounting point, there is a high chance of flex, left and right flex from the camera shifting. It just kind of moves like this in the cage slightly when you have a bigger lens on, when you're running follow focus and all those things. Another thing they added too was the quarter 20 slot right here. And what that is useful for is if you do want to have something like a follow focus, you can screw in Small Rig's 15mm to quarter 20 rods, which they sell, screw it in, and then you can mount your follow focus onto something like a smaller lens like this 50mm f1.8 OSS lens. So another awesome thing about the bottom of the camera, while they added 2 mounting points for Manfrotto style plates and other style plates that have 2 different screws, they have 2 quarter 20 screws or have a slot that you can move 2 quarter 20 screws onto to secure it. They also added an Arca Swiss style mounting points. So now you can have Arca Swiss or Manfrotto or any other type of dual point locking system, which is amazing. You have the best of both worlds. So what else can I say about the Small Rig A6500 cage? Well, I can say it's great. It protects the camera. It's inexpensive, though the build quality and the design is top notch. Lots of room for accessories, lots of room for modularity. So would I recommend the Small Rig A6500 cage? Absolutely. It's great. It protects your investment. It also helps to dissipate heat when you're in, when you're not in super hot temperatures. It does help. Obviously, when you're in the sun and you're out shooting with the cage is going to heat up a lot. So there is that. So you got to, the cage is not an end-all be-all towards overheating, and I haven't heard of anybody overheating an A6500 in normal use. The option in the camera that allows you to turn up the level where the camera would shut off due to heat, the cage will help with that because it will allow some of that heat to dissipate into all this metal. So that is another benefit to having a cage. So yeah, I have a couple other reviews from Small Rig products, including the Pixie 5 Pixelar cage that I helped design. That review and overview will be coming out soon. Until then, thanks for checking out this review. Like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know what you guys do to accessorize your A6500. I'm definitely interested to see what other people are rocking. See you guys in the next one. But if you close your eyes